to call this meeting to order February 21st, 2024. In attendance, we have Molly Keegan, Joyce Chunglo, myself, Amy Parsons, Jane Nevin-Smith, and Randy Iser. In accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 22 of the Acts of 2022, signed by Governor on February 15th of 2022, I announce that this meeting of the Select Board is being recorded by Hadley Media, the Select Board's office via Zoom, and ask if there is anyone present who is also recording the meeting. No, Randy. Excellent. Since no one is recording, let the minutes reflect that nobody else indicated that they are also recording this meeting. 2.1, consent agenda. We have warrants AP 2431, AP 2431S, AP 2432, AP 2432S. Also the minutes from January 17th, 2024 and February 7th, 2024. We have a one-day liquor license request from the Amherst Area Chamber of Commerce for the Margarita Madness on April 4th, 2024. A common viticular license for Panera Bread and also Gregory's Pastry Shop. And a declaration of surplus property from the DPW, a 2008 F550 VIN 1FDAF 57R78ED 21662, a 2005 F250 VIN number 1FTN F21565EB30191, and a loader snowplow.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Joyce, seconded by Jane. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Excellent. All right, moving on to new business 4.1, Mass DOT Small Bridge Report. Scott is here to present on that.
Yeah, I can do public comments first.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Public comments. Psych. All right. Public comment period is a period of time for the public to bring their concerns before the select board. We'll hear public comments for 15 minutes. Please try to limit your comments to 3 minutes so that other members of the public have an opportunity to speak. Is there anyone here for public comment? All right, moving on. New business 4.1, Mass DOT Small Bridge Report. Scott is here to present on that. He's coming up to the front now.
Good evening. On January 9th, I received the small bridge report for the Route 47 Russellville Brook Old River Drive Bridge. I believe you guys have this report. So the bridge is in pretty rough shape, and it's starting to propose a hazard to Hadley. And I would recommend that we remove that bridge deck, only the bridge deck, no supporting structure of the approach or anything, just a bridge deck, and not make this a bridge anymore. Put up some better fencing, remove the old water main that's still attached to it, and kind of get this off our plate in the states with the small bridge program and the reporting aspect. Eventually it's going to probably fall into the water. And I think that it would be in our best interest to be proactive with this and remove it.
So if we just take off the deck, do we need to go to conservation and talk to them, or is the deck not going to impact anything they care about?
I talked to Gary about this and he doesn't need a notice of intent. It's another, I don't know if you're familiar with it, Randy. There's one that's not as involved of a procedure because we're not doing anything in the waterway.
Okay.
But it does need to go through the motions with the Conservation Commission.
And in these reports you gave us, Scott, isn't there, the state says to us, to the town, we have to either fix it or remove it, correct?
Well, yeah, in the report, you can see the documentation of the things that they want addressed, the fencing, you know, some signage, et cetera, the securement. There is a, you know, a list of things that we need to do, and it's not gonna get any better over time. Every time they come, there's gonna be more deficiencies to the bridge. I contacted our consulting engineer about it, and they did a little research that the bridge has no you know, historical value or anything like that, so it's not anything that we're gonna get in trouble if we remove it for historical reasons. It proposes no value for anything of that nature.
How long has it been closed off?
I don't have an good answer for that. I don't know.
Does Mr. Dwyer know?
20 years.
And do you have this money in your budget, or do we have to find it somewhere?
Well, we have some of it. I haven't really discussed that with Carolyn yet to find the money that we'd be short. I don't think we'll be short that much money, but you know, we touched it briefly, and I think maybe a reserve fund transfer possibly would be the answer.
What reserve funds are for?
But in my opinion, we should remove it and just keep all our projects moving forward. That this isn't ever gonna, in my opinion, come to anything. I talked to the representative from the state. It serves really no purpose to anything, because you have the big bridge there. We just got a grant to repair that one. This one here is gonna be on the list so far down that there's so many deficient bridges. Even in Hadley, there's a lot, you know, better places for us to look at for a small bridge program than this one lane bridge.
Amy, you have a customer.
Yeah,
Hi, if I could just say a few words.
yeah, just come up to the front.
Built the wire, 388 River Drive. So this bridge is in my front yard. And so I wanted to say a few words about it. I think my family is the most directly affected by the proposal to close it, but the community as a whole benefits from it. I sent all of you an email this afternoon. I will not go through it point by point. But what Scott is saying certainly makes sense on a very narrow level, but what this situation reflects probably close to 30 years of neglect and failure to maintain a town road in Hadley. And just saying, well, off with its head, it's no use anymore. This just seems to be a very poor way of making planning decisions for what needs to be done. And I'm not blaming Scott. This bridge was closed back in the Mike Flamosky era. And that was, I'm not sure if David was even, maybe, I'm not sure if David was town administrator at the time, but it was a prior town administrator. 3 prior DPW directors have neglected this. The road's a mess, but it's a public road. It's a responsibility of the town of Hadley. And I think I wish there was a better process here. You know, I'm pretty active in town and in transit matters. Yeah, I've only had a couple of off the back of a pickup truck or through the door of a pickup truck conversations with Scott about this. It's a hell of a way to run a railroad. This is a town responsibility. The town owns the road. The town should be maintaining the road. The water and the bridge is part of the road. And then I will refer you to, I raised, I think, 7 points in my email, which I will not reiterate, but to say that it is a town road. It is the town's responsibility to maintain the whole roadway.
But is it actually used?
Well, not for 20 years.
No, but I mean, now that your family doesn't own the property, on either side of you.
We,
So is it actually something that you would need to get to your property?
it is more convenient for me to go downtown by going south across the bridge. And if the highway has to be closed for the repair to the main culvert on Route 47, it's something like a 12-mile trip for me to get up to the garage at the top of the hill, the old Lesko's garage, just to start my trip down Route 47. But again, the point is it's not me necessarily, it's a public road. And it's been neglected, severely neglected. I'm happy to have anyone stop by. Randy's been up there.
I've seen it.
The roads,
Every time we drive by, my husband says, when's that gonna get fixed? And he's been saying it for years, so. And it's not that I don't want it to be fixed, but is it feasible and monetarily necessary to fix it? Be-
it is eligible. Now, Scott is correct. It may not get to the top of the list for a while, but it is eligible for the state small bridge grant program, which has one component for design and another component for construction. So it is eligible on paper.
If we applied for that grant, for that bridge, would that then preclude us from applying for the same grant program for other bridges in town? I don't know.
There's a rating process for this. Say, multiple factors, how much it's used, what its purpose is, et cetera, list goes on. And use is a big factor of the small bridge program and your ranking.
But it's it's in such close proximity to actually what needs to be done, which has been put off also for a number of years because the state allocated X number of dollars, but you had a lot of people not necessarily happy with that idea, but because of the culvert that's there that needs to be repaired, it's going to reroute a lot of farmers to a lot of different areas and a long journey around wherever they gotta go.
Regardless if this bridge is here or not, they would never put vehicular traffic over this. It's not rated. They do not know what the structure is on either side, etc. If the state decided to put a temporary bridge there, they would have to do a full bridge project there first. They would not trust that old granite rock structure.
Mhm.
They would never do that. And in my opinion, if I was applying for another small bridge grant, this would be the last one I'd look at. The next one I particularly would be looking at would be Hartsbrook down on Bay Road, where there's a lot of cars that go over it. It's starting to have problems, etc. That's how I would prioritize it. I do not disagree with Bill. It is a town road, it's a town bridge, but it serves really no purpose. There's 5,000 people in Hadley, and this, really helps one person or how many from there forward.
You
It's
would be
just,
surprised how many people would come through, park in the shade, fish from the bridge. It is not merely a resource for getting me to work. And as I said in my email, it's also that's the 1937. That's what Hadley Road looked like 100 years ago.
Mhm.
So I think there's an historical component to it. But again, I just keep on coming back to it is a town road, and if there was a more elaborate process in place for deciding how we're going to deal with town roads, that's one thing. I'm troubled by this off with its head approach for this one thing. And I will say I did contribute to Scott's discomfort because this bridge was not on the state inventory of bridges. And I emailed the Highway District 2 bridge engineer and said, is it eligible? And they sent a crew over and measured it and said, yes, it is eligible by about half a foot. But it is eligible. It is a town road, and it's, you know, we're kind of rewarding ourselves for screwing up a maintenance plan over the last, I'll go back 30 years. If it's been closed for 20, it probably needed attention quite a while ago. And it just seems counterintuitive and counterproductive to say, well, if we just ignore it long enough, we can sweep it under the carpet.
Kind of
So,
like the Russell School.
so
It-
you,
Point well made.
you or anyone else has not used the bridge for 20 years.
Correct. We've not had the option of using the bridge.
So. And somehow you've managed. And yes, they're gonna do road work in front of you shortly. But it seems to me that the cost to remove it is probably about a fifth of the cost of rebuilding it. Is that, would that be?
Oh, you're talking millions of dollars rebuild it. And like right now, like to touch on what Bill said, people fishing, etc. there, this poses a major liability for the town.
Yep.
If somebody gets hurt there, there's gonna be a problem. We should alleviate the hazard, which is removing the bridge deck.
People can
Putting,
still fish.
people can still fish, you could walk through the opening with no hazard above your head. We can put up some better fencing, secure it, put up a few more barricades like they suggested, and we can alleviate a hazard.
Well, it's not that big a deal because you can't get there without trespassing on my land. So,
You can walk right down that road and climb over whatever and go down there, or walk in the water. You could access it from the other side, walk under the culvert and walk over there. I don't wanna sit here and argue.
I own the whole of the whole of the
You
donut.
don't, you want to get into that argument, Scott, because the brook is private property. If would the state give money to a private landowner to fix that bridge or just to a town?
Just to a town.
Okay. So I'm not in favor of maintaining that road. I appreciate your concern, Mr. Dwyer, about the bridge, but let's say we put in for a grant and the state fixed the bridge. Then we now have more road to maintain. We have enough issues with lack of funding for other projects in town. And I mean, there's gonna be so minimal use of it, relatively speaking, that I don't think it's a good investment. And if it's a town road and we're concerned that we're not taking care of it, maybe we need to discontinue that portion of the road. And then we don't have to worry about it anymore.
Your water main is under there. For everything north of my house.
Okay. So we have to discontinue it and keep an easement. Yeah, I mean, I get where you're coming from, Bill, but it's hard to justify. Amy, yeah.
Linda?
Yeah. I want to talk about safety. We spent millions of dollars to put a firehouse up near our house because it's so far for fire engines to get all the way up to North Hadley and take care of fires if we had one up there. So we supported that. And we have a fire station nearby. Now you're going to take the main road out of commission for a while to fix the culvert. For how long? How is a fire engine or the police supposed to get to our house? They're going to go out Shattuck Road to Sunderland and come back. You think this is just about one person's convenience? We're not the only ones north of that bridge. How are you going to make sure that we get public safety coverage? Do you know how long some of these bridges are out of commission once they get started? How long did the one, on Bay Road take to get fixed? So once they start working on that road, there's not going to be any How am I, how am I gonna get to work? I'm gonna have to go to Sunderland, go around, come down Shattuck Road and out and go up. That's fine, adds 15 minutes to my trip. But it's the public safety that I'm concerned about. You can't get fire engines or police cars or anyone up there. And there's a lot of elder people. I mean, how they get to the, I don't want to name them, but so there's that. And as far as maintaining the road, I'm in my house and we watch the snowplow come in, turn around in our driveway, push up against the cement that was put up there, turn around, go back out to the road, go up, come in the other side, come back up to the bridge, back up into that person's driveway, 386, and then turn around and go through. If the road was fixed, the plow just goes right on through. And that's why they're not getting to our house early on in the plowing. That's an inconvenience. I mean, we live on that road. You can't say discontinue a road. We live on that. That is how we get in and out of our driveway. That's a road. I don't know how you can discontinue a road that somebody's driveway comes off of. But I am very concerned. I always understood, going back to when David was here, that we fixed the little road, get traffic through there, get something through there so that they could fix the main road. And these decades have gone by and we've brought this up multiple times and nothing has happened with it. And you're just going to let that, you're going to remove the little road and then you're going to work on the big road. And what do you do for public safety for everyone that stretch of North Hadley?
So I heard Scott saying that even if the bridge were fixed, it would not be for traffic. Is that correct?
So if the bridge was fixed, I mean, the state would have to go in there and probably put in some kind of temporary bridge of some sort, et cetera. I don't know what they would or would not do. But it would have to be rated to take vehicular traffic. It would have to be rated to hold a fire truck, et cetera. So whether this bridge deck is here or not is somewhat irrelevant. You're not driving over it. If this, when this project moves forward, I just got signed an engineer for this project a week ago. Maybe they're gonna propose leave the culvert there and build a new bridge off to the side. I don't even know what their game plan is. No one knows yet. But if they need that, they're gonna have to do something that's gonna make it structural sound to support traffic. They're not gonna throw some boards over it and say, here, drive over this. They would never take the liability of that. And that's what this is. They don't know the kind of weight it can support.
Scott, can we, is it feasible? I think the strongest argument I'm hearing presented is this public safety issue and what we are going to do in terms of accessing anybody north of, that location. Obviously that's a concern. We've got, Cold Spring and there's a lot of places up there in the cut through from Sunderland and everything. So is it possible to hold on this until we know what the plan is from the DOT relative to the culvert repair? Because I'm thinking about when we did the bridge down by the water station, down by.
That's not done yet. It's
Well, right,
coming back.
when the repair as opposed to the full replacement,
Mhm.
right? They didn't shut it down completely. They had.
Right, they could do the same thing on this next project. You could have alternating one lane traffic, et cetera. As this progresses and goes on, there is gonna be public hearings for that bridge replacement, everything. We're just, just got signed an engineer. It's as green can be. Nobody knows what the next steps are for that bridge project.
Is it feasible to hold on?
I think it's
Until we know.
irrelevant. I don't think it's gonna change the status of everything. This bridge here is deficient. And their chances are they're not gonna do anything with it. You're talking millions of dollars to do something.
So
Maybe they would lay a temporary bridge over it. I don't know.
But that's why I'm asking. I mean, is.
I would say no, because the supporting structure, they don't know what that holds.
Well,
But in the
let's-
absence of knowing it, my question is what's the harm to the town if we just waited
Because
a little while and we'll know, or is it like a
It-
year?
I would, it's a state and engineering. I would say you're talking a year or better by the time they figure out a design of, et cetera, funding from the state. You're talking, it's gonna be some time. This isn't gonna happen fast.
But
So-
can't they come back to us after their first glance at it and give us something feasible that we could see what's going on as they progress on it?
Oh, I'm sure they will bring you a
I
plan
mean,
saying.
so why can't we wait as a board to see what the first blush of this is gonna be and then go from there?
You can do whatever you want. I'm proposing to you that I was presented with a roadway hazard that needs to be addressed, that we own.
So your concern is primarily liability. Well, I'm just. to
Yes,
put this out.
yes. And then if this happens to fall into the water, or whatever, then we have a whole nother issue of getting it out of the water. Right now, it's not in the water.
Mhm.
There's conservation. I talked to Gary, there's like a short form process to go through. It's very quick, it's very easy, et cetera. We're just gonna take the top of the bridge off.
So if they were to decide they wanted to use the bridge during construction, the top would have to be gone anyway for them to do anything.
Absolutely.
So why don't we get the top off of it before the price goes up anymore and see how the next part goes?
That's all I'm proposing. We're not touching any of the approach, any of the, rock. It's an old granite, placed foundation. We're not touching any of that. All we want to do is remove the bridge deck and remove the old water pipe and abate it out of there.
If we pull the deck off, would we still be eligible for a grant to rebuild the bridge?
I wouldn't see why not. We're just protecting the town. It's our bridge, it's our road. We can do whatever we want.
So,
That's what the Mass Highway told me. It's our road, it's our bridge.
right, but,
You proceed however you would like.
but if we pull the deck off, then can we go to the state and say, we want to rebuild this bridge?
I would be
If we get
assuming,
it
so I
done.
don't have a definite answer on that. He wouldn't give me a real answer on that. I called there and they said, it's your bridge. Here's your report. This is what we suggest. And we're not getting involved in your town, politics.
Mhm.
This is what we suggest to do.
So could we perhaps just defer this decision tonight until we get a little bit more information based on some of the questions that have been posed? I mean, generally, I understand where you're coming from and it seems to make sense. Sadly, I recall the sordid history of the 20 years that this has been going on and the lack of attention to it. So I understand where the Dwyers are coming from. But I think maybe if we could just resolve in our minds, Randy's question, the one about, what is the likely the possibility of the state wanting to utilize that stretch of road in any way during the culvert reconstruction, and then we could decide after that.
If that's your wish, that's fine. I can dig a little deeper, but
I don't know if we need a motion or we just continue
Continue.
the discussion. You don't need a motion.
Bill, is that something you can kind of do some digging into and see if my question is a feasible?
Look at it, and there's also asbestos in there. There's a water pipe under the bridge that was supposed to have been removed when they did their directional drilling to bury the water main under the brook. Well, never was, so that will be an added
Yeah, I saw that.
exposure.
that's another thing too. If it ever did snap and that went in the water, it presents another problem to us. Like I said, the consultant engineer said it, he recommended that it be removed. So I'm just presenting to you. I understand you want more information. I'll gladly get it. But just, there's an issue there that we need to address. So,
Yeah, and again, please don't read my.
yeah, no, I understand.
Yeah. I
So
think
is
just
the state, has the state, when they inspected this bridge and said it's bad, said you have a certain amount of time or you will be penalized or any kind of,
No, they're just doing their reporting to you and they give you their list of suggestions of things you can do. And the end of the day, it's your bridge. If you don't follow their suggestions and make it, safer, et cetera, that's on the owner. they just present the report and the facts of what they deem, in a, you know, no good.
Okay.
If I could just add, they inspect quarterly. So these reports have been coming in. I don't know where they've been going, but these reports have been coming in on the Little Bridge for at least 2 years now.
Bring it up next meeting.
Yeah. All right, and Scott, I'm sorry, there's just one more thing. Yes. Just, at some point. So not next meeting or anything like that. But it would be really helpful to have some inventory, just so, we've talked about the roads, that the town doesn't know, and, which roads need to be brought online. Could we also do the same thing with the bridges, like, anecdotally, I know where a lot of them are, but, we have like an inventory.
We have a road inventory, yes.
Yeah, but that is something that maybe at some point in the future we could put on an agenda and you could educate us.
On your streets you own and don't own, or,
No, the bridges,
oh, bridges,
Yeah,
yeah.
like-
yeah.
cause I know, we had like a map of culverts, still just trying to get my head wrapped around the map to involve the, infrastructure issues we're dealing with. Or not. Thank you.
All right, now they'll say in your seat there. So we have the DPW overburden pile request.
So we have this big pile of dirt down our yard. It's not loam and it's not gravel and it's not any kind of structural fill. It's just material of, edge of the road scrapings from over the years, et cetera. And on occasion, like a farmer or somebody will approach us and say, hey, my farm road is in need of a little material. Do you have anything down there I can grab to fix this road? And we do. This pile of material really serves no purpose to us, just getting bigger. And I just, eventually we might have to, pay some money to get rid of some of it. So I think it'd be a good practice if somebody requested for a little bit of material, if they can haul it out of there ourselves, why wouldn't we give it to them to, help somebody out? It's just an excess pile of overburden. It's just,
So it's basically fill, not topsoil.
yeah, and
It's
it,
not even good fill, it's junk.
it's just junk. It's just, it has no structural integrity. You couldn't use it for any kind of road bed or anything like that. It's just something like I said, on a farm road or something, or you were, had to extend your yard a little bit, kind of material like that, that has nothing for a structure. It's just material of, X, Y, and Z that's been dumped there for the last how many years?
So how would you do that? Just put out that it's available if people want?
I don't think I'd advertise it because the people that ask us know we have it, I just,
So you want us to say, yes, it's okay to give it away? I think
Yes.
that we let Scott give it away.
To people that live in town.
Second,
All right, motioned by James, seconded by Randy. All those in favor?
I,
Aye.
All opposed. Excellent.
Water abatement.
All right,
escape.
You're
4.1
1-on-1 tonight, Scott.
4.3 water abatement request for 14 Meadowbrook Drive. We have all the documents in here. It looks like they're requesting a $87.77 abatement. And if I might just add my piece to this. I don't know, is there anything that you want to explain on it? Are you good?
oh, you can go ahead. Go
Okay.
ahead.
So there's a little bit more information for us in here. I know that you disagree, but I found out a little bit more information today. That I would
So,
grant it.
so can I say that, clarify, I guess, on my disagreeing?
Mhm.
I look at this just in general, that the water went through the water meter and it was lost water we pump that water there and et cetera. The particulars of this problem is something that I try not to get myself involved with. If you as a board feel differently, I appreciate that. I just didn't feel that this was my place to make that kind of decision with the other parts of this problem.
Yeah.
Is there a recommendation from the collector's office on this? We usually,
Hi,
Yes,
Kim.
hi. Hi there, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, good. So I assisted the Ballsies in completing the application for the abatement. And the issue is this was a sudden event that occurred, obviously unplanned. Their usage, I think I provided the history as well, but their usage is typically significantly lower than what they've had with this past billing cycle. And what the request is simply charging for every drop of water will be charged, but it would be charged at the lower rate rather than the conservation rate for the excess amount of water. And the difference in that the two rates is the dollar amount requested for the abatement.
Okay.
So just so people understand, the bill is $487.37, correct?
Yes,
And they're asking us to abate 87.77 of that, correct?
yes,
And so they will pay $399.60.
yes, that's correct.
Okay.
so can I just ask a question?
Of course.
And so Kim and Scott, okay, and just historically, this board has not, we typically have not granted abatements when the water has gone, when we can prove that the water has been used. We've had stories, rental properties where a toilet was running and things like that. I mean, terrible things that happen. But is there what I'm hearing is that there's something different here.
Yeah, so just to be careful for everyone
Right,
else,
that's
that
what-
we can't really say much, but I believe that the individuals have a extenuating circumstance that would,
Cause.
that would, in my opinion, grant the abatement.
They submitted a letter to the select board.
Yeah, there is a private letter.
I'll make a motion to accept the abatement request for $87.17, and they will pay $399.
I'll second that, but I want to explain why. These people they realize that they use the water and they're not trying to get out of paying for the water. They just want like a reduced rate. And I appreciate their willingness to do that. So that's why I'm in favor of granting the abatement.
Okay.
And can I just for my own clarification, our history is not to do this. That's why I went down that road and allow you to make your final decision on it. This
It's
isn't.
fine, we don't hold it against you.
Yeah, that's, I appreciate it.
It's okay,
Yeah, yeah.
no.
I feel bad about this. I really do, as, morally,
No, I
that-
thought the same.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, yeah, forget it,
Yeah.
but then,
We're all good.
It's
but
the
yeah,
first time I've actually
Yeah.
seen somebody offer to have a lower rate instead of ask for the.
Yeah, that
whole
was
thing.
very,
So it was a different,
Right.
that's commendable.
which I think is quite appropriate.
Yeah.
Also, may I say something as well? There actually has been multiple occasions in the past where they have made this type of exception where they have allowed to charge the lower rate rather than the conservation rate. So there has been abatements approved for this exact type of situation.
Okay.
All right, motion on the table.
Yeah, all those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Excellent.
Thank
Scott,
you so
are-
much.
Thank you,
Kim.
Kim. All right, 4.4, we have Officer Mitch here. I can't call you Officer Mitch anymore, I'm
It's
sorry.
Lieutenant.
Lieutenant.
Chair, it's whatever.
It's-
Lieutenant.
Lieutenant, I'm sorry, I'm still an 18-year-old kid.
You're not 18.
No, that's when I first met him.
That long ago you were.
I was never in trouble. Well, there was a picture of me in the back,
Yeah,
Officer Ravish. Anyway,
you're in trouble, Amy. You were in
Um,
trouble.
That's trouble there.
Chief Mason, oh, I'm sorry.
I'll let you incriminate yourself. How about that?
Statute of limitations, I'm 35 now. All right, sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. So, thank you, everybody. This is gonna be the third time that you're gonna be hearing Mel's name, brought up to you folks. In actually 4 months. This is gonna be the second time that she's gonna have a position change within the department. So you'll be hearing, from us tonight for the third time, all for good reasons, of course. Melanie is originally from Connecticut. And after graduating from UMass Amherst, she became a full-time UMass Amherst police officer. And after about 3 years at UMass, she decided that she was gonna do a little career path change. And she started to navigate becoming an EMT. So while she was doing that, she reached out to our department and wanted to inquire about becoming a traffic control officer. And then after about a month or so of being a traffic control officer, she inquired about becoming a sworn police officer. So we, of course, accepted and brought her before you for your consideration. And so since then, not only has she completed her EMT, but she's also completing the basic 6 firefighter training, which will qualify her to become a firefighter. And she's also expressed interest in becoming certified to dispatch. So today, after about 4 months of us asking her if she's interested in coming on the department, here she is, and we are asking you to appoint her as a full-time police officer. Now, if she does become dispatch certified, she would become the first Hadley dispatcher, firefighter, EMT police officer of the town. And since she's already academy trained and she just recently, within the last month or so, completed our in-house training program, if you appoint her this evening, she will start on the schedule this coming Saturday.
So moved.
Second.
I have one question.
Yes, sir.
Do you not have a place to live? That's why you want all these jobs, so you can stay there 24 hours?
All right,
Do you have any questions for us?
No.
No?
all right. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Welcome.
Excellent, welcome.
Again. Very ambitious.
Try to find some time to sleep.
Yeah.
All right,
Switch with Mitch.
Thank you.
Again. So Mitch West is another that some of you are familiar with, if not all of you. Mitch is from Hadley, and following his graduation from Smith Vocational in 2008, he enlisted in the United States Marine Corps. And upon leaving the Marine Corps, he had attained the rank of corporal. Before going in the Marine Corps, he was a volunteer firefighter for the town of Hadley. And when he returned home to the Marines, he worked for Associated Building Wreckers. And in 2015, he started his own business, Northwoods Excavation, which he still operates today. He holds a bachelor's degree in business administration. Oh yeah, how am I then, huh? All right, well, you do hold a bachelor's degree, no? No, okay. So, but he does still operate Northwoods Excavation. So, he applied in the last process and, we unanimously selected him from within the department. And, if you appoint him this evening, he will start on March 4th. And he will start the full-time police academy at some point between the beginning of April and the beginning of May, starting his approximately year-long training process between the academy and our in-house training.
So moved.
Second?
One question.
Yes, sir.
Do you own land in Cummington?
Yes.
Okay, I've done work for, my company's done work for him. I'm going to abstain.
all right. Motion done, seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? And abstention.
Abstention.
Yes.
Thanks for coming back.
Yeah, welcome
All
back.
right, welcome back. Okay, 4.5 is, it's an agenda item, but it's not anything, I'm sorry.
Sure.
Congratulations.
Congratulations again. So 4.5 is not really anything we need to vote on. It's more just to acknowledge and something that we need to sign in. Just that the presidential primary election is to be held at the senior center on March 5th from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. No motion needed, no vote needed, just something that we, as a select board, will need to sign.
Okay.
All right. So again, presidential primary election here at the senior center, March 5th, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. All
Can
right,
I just point out there are a couple of typos in there if they want to fix that before.
I will mention that to the correct parties.
oh, okay. All right, 4.6 is, actually, do you want to explain it and then I'll say my
absolutely.
bit? Okay.
So this has been on kind of the sidelines for a few years, and Sue is not here. But Sue had requested to put this on. Many towns have adopted Chapter 41, Section 108 of the Mass General Laws, which gives a stipend to treasurers and collectors. So I know that at last minute she's helping with another event. So this is something that is requesting to go on to the warrant. So because the warrant is yours, I wanted to, if you needed to discuss it, I don't know if you want to wait till a later time. But this was requested by Sue.
Yeah, so this was something that would be the treasurer and the collector could get if they were certified. It was like an additional stipend, but my idea is to hold it off potentially to fall town meeting, just because there's other positions in town hall. So this is the only position, like these two positions are the only ones that because of Mass General Law would have to go on a town meeting warrant. But there are other positions in town hall that could be eligible for stipends as well, because those individuals are certified. So I didn't want to do it now, have it in there, and then have other people coming looking for more stipends. I wanted to just kind of put this as an agenda item in the future for all of them, if that makes sense.
And it'd be helpful to me too. I mean, far be it from me to criticize Mass General Law. I'm sure there's a reason that these things happen, but I'd love some context for this. And I'm also wondering, because just the way it's worded, it says in any city, town, or district that accepts this section, right? So it's leaving it up to, all of the municipalities across the Commonwealth to adopt it. So I'd also be curious, like, are we an outlier? Have half of them done
I
it?
think Sue would be able to answer
Yeah.
more of the
Yeah.
details of that.
It's not something that we're required to adopt, but if it was something that we wanted to adopt, it would have to go through town meeting.
Mhm.
And it's because of those two positions, right? Like. They're
Well,
the
it's
two,
because of how Mass General Laws has worded it.
right,
Whereas you have other stipends that Mass General Law does not address.
right, and these positions are per Mass General Law contract positions, is that right?
Not
Not
necessarily.
necessarily.
There's treasurers and collectors who are not contracted.
Clear as mud.
I know, right? But I know that there are other positions that could be eligible and would ask also for stipends.
Yeah, I agree that it needs a little more work and we need to get some more information so we can
Like
better
Jennifer.
decide.
I don't think we need to, I would like to hear from Sue before we decide to postpone it till the fall warrant. So at the next meeting, maybe she can speak to this.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
You wanna- okay.
Okay, I have no problem with that.
Table.
Yes,
I know that y'all already voted to approve the Asparagus Festival one-day request for the Commons and the liquor license. But Vanessa Cirillo and Kyle Homestead are here. Vanessa is from NEPM. If y'all wanted to say anything or talk to her about it, y'all did already approve it, so it was on consent agenda, so it should have, it's, you know, one of our typical items. But they are here if you wanted to speak to.
You didn't read the consent.
I do, not really.
Yeah, I'm good.
Vanessa and Kyle, there you go.
It must not have been on today. It must have been on a
I
different.
don't see it. on-
Vanessa, Kyle, it was in the consent agenda. When?
When?
The consent agenda.
Not today.
Not today, it's not. Mhm.
Okay, I didn't
Y'all-
remember it.
Jane's not losing her mind.
Thank you.
I am losing my mind. Oh my God.
Okay,
All right.
Anyway,
they'd like to talk to us.
Well,
But
they
they're
can
not
talk
on-
to you another time.
They're not on the
No.
agenda.
yeah,
so
we can't,
They
Not-
can't.
not
talk to
tonight.
them.
Right.
Yep, no.
but
Unfortunately. Sorry for that inconvenience.
sorry about that.
So
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 we'll
we're gonna have to
put it-
have you on an agenda
Yeah.
another evening.
It'll be, yeah,
The sixth.
March sixth. Okay, so we'll,
Ask them if that's gonna work for
is,
them.
is March sixth gonna work for you guys to be able to? It'll be fine? Okay.
they're not responding. Dead in the water.
You're
No, we
muted.
we can do March 6th. I think the question is really, we're hoping to, based on our meeting yesterday, hoping to be able to move forward and just start to publicize the event and get all the things moving. So just be great to have some clarity as to whether we need to hold off or we can start
We
to.
can't, we can't discuss it tonight since it's not on the agenda.
Yeah, so we would be violating open meeting law if we were to discuss something that wasn't on our agenda.
Vanessa, I'll be in touch with you tomorrow morning at 8:30.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Call my cell phone though, because I'm gonna try not to work tomorrow.
Okay.
I have
Absolutely.
school vacation. My
Okay,
kids.
all right.
Cool. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Sure.
Appreciate
Thank
your
you.
help. Bye.
All right.
Town administrator. Report.
All right, any other items not anticipated 24 hours in advance? All right, 6.1, town administrators report.
Let's see. Hold on.
You can borrow my laptop if you need.
No, why is it doing this again?
What's it doing? Putting it in a folder that you have to go hunt?
Just getting stuck. So, let's see. There's an update there with all of the things that are going on with HR as my document is struggling to open.
Borrow.
Oh, no, I got it. I got it now. Thank you, Randy. Thank you. So I just wanted to give you an update on those things that are happening with HR, who's in the screening process, the positions that are in the interview process, and the extended offer of employment. So those are all on there.
Carolyn, just a quick question on that. The part-time treasurer's position that's being filled by a temp right now, right?
Yeah,
Linda's assistant?
yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
So, and is that just kind of indefinite, or are we interviewing while that's happening, or how's that working?
I don't have it. This is what I have in mind. What is the problem there?
Yeah, just open this one. This is her report.
Nope. No, it's not.
This one?
Oh, you have to go here. Sorry,
Yeah, no worries.
just technical assistance being provided.
Yeah, just to provide some
Thank you.
clarity on that. So I had a conversation with Linda when we started the temp process. And we explored the option of keeping the position open while we had the temp there. She wasn't keen on necessarily doing that. So we took the position down and moving forward with the temp.
Okay.
And it's just kind of was her wishes as the department head. So we're sitting on that. She really likes him. Joe likes him a lot too. So we're kind of hoping that that'll work out and kind of transition over to be
Okay, all right.
full-time is what our expectation.
Thank you.
Thanks, Troy. March 6th is the cable renewal contract hearing at 6 p.m. here. And scooting down, the RFQ for the OPM has been advertised and submissions are due March 27th, and the building committee will review it on April 3rd. And they will probably set up some interviews to meet with them and then have some recommendations for you. Girls softball field is just waiting for the contractor's signature. The Russell School reuse study, we do have a signed contract, and the kickoff meeting, we're waiting for that to be scheduled.
Carolyn, is there a holdup there for the kickoff meeting?
Is there a what?
Hold
It
up.
was just all the contracts getting signed by all the signatures. We
Okay.
just got it. We just got the final signature.
Okay, cool.
And then I put an update of the draft warrant. I'll keep that with the town administrator's report because I do add some things. So I want you to just take a look at that. I would say for the next meeting, I'd like you to go over some of the articles that are on there as just kind of a holding place that are under your jurisdiction on the warrant, and we can talk about some of those. You'll see some changes on the warrant. And that is all of the updates.
Right.
Thank you.
All right, 7, select board members' items for future discussion. Is there anything in addition that we would like to talk about at a later date? I know our next meeting is pretty heavy right now, but
Just the one I asked Scott about, but again, there's no rush on that. That's just more educational.
Yeah, and I can have him send it out ahead. I think he actually has it. It wouldn't be hard for him to get, so we can send it out ahead of time as well.
okay,
I think, given Carolyn's potential leaving, we should be having a conversation about replacement.
Well, I haven't left yet.
No,
You might want to wait until after the interviews. Thank you.
but the possibility is it should be on the next meeting if you get the offer.
Yeah, if that comes to fruition, that would make an awful lot of sense.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, it would.
Yes.
all right. All right, any liaison reports?
I just have one, we had talked previously from the Housing and Economic Development Committee about housing forum. And unfortunately, due to scheduling problems, we're needing to change the dates. So previously we had reported February 29th with a second session on March 7th. I've let all of the planned speakers know that that needs to be rescheduled. We're trying to nail down the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission. They're pretty stretched right now, so it's difficult getting their time. So I believe their planning board is working on that, and then we will have new dates, probably not until, April, May timeframe. So just making sure everybody knows that that forum is not taking place next week. And dates will be reported.
Okay,
I have a report from the senior center.
okay,
Next week will be the first memory cafe from the grant that has been provided, and the comments we're getting about how needed this is and how many people are excited about it is really makes us know this was worth doing.
Okay.
And that will be on Wednesday at 1:30 for anyone who would like to come with their care partner.
I washed my
Great
hands
program.
with toothpaste one more time. I thought we should be coming.
all right. Any announcements?
I just have one this evening. I can announce it this week, on the passing of Myrna Cook. Married to Richard Cook, who was a lifetime person in town, but they did spend a good almost 25 years in Vermont before moving here. And they would have been married 50 years. They've had 49 years of being married, so spent a good number of years here in Hadley. So condolences to her family and friends. And to Richard.
Okay. All right, so I will make a motion to move into executive session to discuss strategy with respect to pending litigation. namely HAP Community Housing Services Incorporated versus the Town of Hadley, Western Housing Court Docket Number 19H79CV0000509, where an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the litigating positions of the Town of Hadley, and also to discuss the reputation, character, physical condition, or mental health rather than professional competence of an individual, or to discuss the discipline or dismissal of or complaints or charges brought against a public officer, employee, staff member, or individual personnel, DPW.
And then if you could add the next one on for the fire.
And also, for the fire potential litigation. Okay, litigation, so if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body and the chair so declares.
So moved.
Second.
All right, as chair of the Hadley Select Board, I state that the board has moved and seconded to enter into executive session, not to reconvene in open session, and that I state that discussing the matter in open session will have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the Town of Hadley. Can I get a roll call vote, please?
Roll call vote, Keegan.
Yes.
Chungalo.
Yes.
Parsons.
Yes.
Nevin Smith.
Yes.
And Isaac.
Yes.